Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, looking at the latest discussions and more so documenting the resistance against warlike wrath. Whilst we've seen the patterns and themes emerge of someone or some people making false reports on my videos, even when they haven't even aired live yet, with no proof, no evidence, and the video still remaining up, obsessed individuals in the background. We've also seen cowardly people in recent time coming out from the woodwork, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Facebook, the private group Noah Presgrove's Army, a few dodgy people in there. And now all of a sudden, even one of the Reddit pages. They're getting about. What's one thing they all share in common? Most of them have some form of a default profile. They've got a bit of a default name at times. As for their levels of contribution, well, that can differ, of course, because we're talking about YouTube. It tends to be zero contribution because, YouTube is a platform where you create, where you upload videos and maybe comment here and there. And as for the complainers and whiners on YouTube, that's all it's been. So really no contribution there. As for on other platforms, they could have contributed with valid discussions, key points in other posts, but not so much about me. You could say some humans out there are obsessed with warlike wrath in a negative, unhealthy way. The way I see it is there is resistance because humans don't like my style, my coverage, my consistency, my depth, my frequency, etc. It is what it is. But you know what is important? To document and archive these levels of behavior and attitudes within humans out there, because all these people acting the way they are also claiming to supposedly care about the case. And at least in my mindset, by repressing, suppressing, or damaging the credibility of someone and pushing them away when that one is simply trying to spread awareness of the case and keep it alive, even single-handedly, such as on YouTube, by pushing and denying that, it's as if you don't want the truth to come out in the Noah Presgrove case. You want to silence it. You don't want awareness. That's why it comes off as, and it's a bit of a contradiction because they claim to care, but their actions, their attitude, and what they say is the complete opposite. They're no better than some of the possible people directly within the case. Now, am I assuming that all these people showing resistance towards me are family members and within the direct case itself and party goers? No. I think it's fully grown, and it might be hard to believe that, but fully grown adults of varying ages, different genders, who may be successful in life elsewhere, but when it comes to online as a platform, they lack the mentality, they lack the focus, the understanding, the perceptions, the perspectives. They're impetuous, egocentric, ignorant, arrogant, etc. Right? So they come short in certain areas in life, and we're seeing it displayed on screen digitally. And I'll be presenting some proof today to document and archive because, in addition, recently when I have done my coverage and documentation, people have reached out to me and said, yeah, I've seen that person before. They've been talking bad either about you or about me. I've had problems with them in the past. Well, that's better that, because then we get a collective consensus of who is who, what's what, do we agree with them, do we trust them or not? Because whilst this case is quite deep and there's a lot of variety, different communities, different groups and platforms, and the case itself, there's a lot of people within that and different stories and perspectives. There's a lot to juggle about. And if there is quite a bit of talk with not enough proof, but you're supposed to believe and trust in it, it can be difficult at times. And once the trust issues start rolling in, everything becomes fragmented, the cracks form, and that's where it implodes on itself. And with the Dylan Rounds case, I extensively saw that with the majority of humans out there and the majority of communities, creators, and dodgy people out there. It's happened. I made my predictions. I was right almost every single time. And I strongly think that my predictions are going to be coming around the corner within this case too. As I said, keeping it in here for now, but the cycles, the patterns, the behavioral shifts and changes, their mindsets, their subconscious and unconscious mind kicking on in, which reveals their true nature, their true intention, their true mindset, their true attitude, just like what we saw within the Dylan Rounds case, the Black Widows, as they finally show And whilst we can use all this form of special language, symbolism and poetry, what we need to put in motion is realistic thoughts and valid counterpoints, right? So my aim within the Noah Presgrove case, to keep it alive, to spread awareness, to learn on the spot, and maybe help other people learn too. Simply to look at it because I'm interested in it as well. And then the other reason would be to document anything else along the way, whether it be material and evidence which could disappear at any point in time, which could be detrimental to the case, or at least our knowledge and understanding of it. It's also important to document the dodgy people, the bad people, those that claim to be good, those that claim to be pure, those that claim to care about the case, but their actions and wording elsewhere goes against that mentality, making them a full-on blown hypocrite. And whilst they might be praised and paraded elsewhere, I've seen it firsthand. I know what's what. I'm starting to see the patterns, okay? And I'm going to document that as I go along. And another thing what I need to make very clear, if any humans question me and wonder, by doing this type of coverage, am I causing it in the first place? No, because to begin with, I was simply covering the case. And that's when the resistance came in. And I simply documented it as normal, like how I would have always done so. So nothing's changed there. And more resistance has come in since, whilst I've been doing my own thing, keeping my head down. But I'm allowed to defend myself. I'm allowed to defend my credibility. Anyone else would, so I can too. The other people may question me and think, well, by doing these videos, is it taking it away from what's more important here? The main subject, Noah Presgrove. And I would say, it's all under control. If you think about it, almost every single day I've made 1 to 2 videos about the case specifically. How many videos have I made about me, or, full on drama and conflict? The ratio is more one-sided. It's mainly all to do with Noah Presgrove and exclusively Noah Presgrove, the case and those within, right? But every now and then I do need to do these videos, and take in mind, just because I make a video like this, it's not going to negatively impact the case itself or the videos that I do on that case, because at the end of the day, I'm still making videos about the main stuff almost every single day. So it hasn't changed. Surely you can see that yourself. And what I've done in the Dylan Rounds case worked. What I'll do here will work because I understand the cycle. I know the patterns in humans. What will happen, and I'm going to give you a prediction right here, right now. Now, it can depend on the scale and exactly the perceptions from a certain platform, or it's just worldwide. At some point within the Noah Presgrove case, I will be deemed as the black sheep. That will happen. To what extent? Unknown. But in some way or another, the symbolism of being the black sheep, I will become that. But why? Because of my frequency, my consistency, my depth, my repetitiveness in order to understand and make points bold, to point out the importance of things, by my coverage and documentation and archiving of certain key material, possible evidence, and even human behavioral shifts within their own minds, and including the psychology behind it as well, demonstrating introspection, okay? By highlighting the impetuous and the egocentric individuals, by the time I'm done, at some point, I will be the black sheep. And then what will happen after that? It will quieten down and it will go back to normal in the end. That's exactly what happened within the Dylan Rounds case. But what happens here? Do we have humans that may participate as in watching or lurking? Yes. Are they the majority? No. Are they the minority? Yes, at least for now. And that's just me being honest and realistic. So where do we start first of all? Let's just check YouTube out, because there's the odd 2 people that have popped up complaining and whining, and the odd one doing it repetitively. Whether that directly links or not to what I saw on Reddit afterwards, I'll look at that as well. But don't go anywhere. Let's begin reading. So this video, the comment section of it, it was just basically me talking about how I've been silenced in recent time when my videos were falsely reported once again, if you remember, about a day or 2 ago. Well, just one day when I uploaded it. And I left a comment saying, I don't know how many people will see the video because I was uploading quite a few videos on that day, and I know notifications don't always work. And I just hoped that more people would see it so they can understand and follow the updates of my story, my channel, when documenting the case and looking into it. Then this person called Dream Beach Dreamer, one of the complainers, default profile check, 0 content on their channel. Well, we'll take a look shortly. But Dream says, you are creating the drama yourself. You go out of your way to create problems. Then as soon as possible, make a video stating I'm being silenced. This is not for Noah. You landed on a little gold mine and it's disgusting. Check your facts too. It's funny how you say check your facts when quite a bit of this case and the communities out there are more about discussions, theories, ideas, what's allegedly been said, what's supposedly happened, how much is truly concrete, maybe not as much as you think. So what I'm doing, I'm just simply looking at the uncertainty which is talked about elsewhere. Then along the way, I think outside of the box and I use my own thoughts and ideas too. And, you can use it as in the meantime when there is a bit of there's a level of silence or there's a lack of evidence or solid material coming out. What else can you do? You can talk, you can discuss, you can try and make sense of the matter. There's no harm in that, right? This case is not full-on facts left, right and centre, right? There'll be some facts here and there, some key timestamps which we can believe in and trust, some key witnesses, maybe like Caden Pressey, who we can believe in and trust, etc., but there's still quite a lot of uncertainty. Now, what else do we need to respond back to here? So Dream says, you are creating the drama yourself. So you're telling me that when I started this case, 10 to 15 videos in when uploading them on my channel, which was all about the case itself and trying to understand what's going on and looking at key text conversations between people of interest within the case. The usual stuff as you would do within a case, the main things, keeping focus, keeping the name out there, keeping it alive, doing everything right. And then what comes with that, false reports being made. You do understand, Dream, that the reason why I had to make my videos about those false reports and me being silenced by someone or something is if those videos were taken down originally and they disappeared, the general public would be confused. Some people would think that I'm deleting them by covering up the truth. Then it would give me a bad name. Then there would be misunderstandings. People would be left in the dark and wouldn't know what to think. That creates its own problems. So when I encountered the issue of someone or some people trying to silence me, I spread awareness about it so everybody else knew what was up and what was going on. And then it made other people think and realise, maybe there is more to it. Maybe it's because of what I've covered and looked at. It's touched a nerve. It's too close to the truth. And sometimes you can measure levels of resistance, i.e. in proximity to the truth. And if people snap, bite or bark, then maybe they are responsible. You never know. And I said I needed to defend myself, defend the credibility, document it as well in case YouTube required some kind of evidence or proof in the future, etc. Right? I document everything that comes along with a case, directly within and the community as well, the problems I might face and everything else in between, and even respond back to comments. It all goes hand in hand because at the end of the day, it's all to do with the case. The good that comes with the bad, it needs to be acknowledged and looked at to maintain that full balance and cycle. So, me creating videos about the case in the first place, like how anyone else could do, you're saying that with what came with that afterwards of the videos being silenced, false reports being made, that I asked for it, that I deserved it, that that's my fault? That just sounds very stupid, one-dimensional, dense mindset. Because there'll be other people out there creating videos on the case. Sure, it might be one and done videos where they just tell the regurgitated same old story. Yeah, that's what happens. When you do get those big popular channels, yeah, they come in and cover the case one time or so and that's it, and then move on. I mean, yeah, it does spread awareness. It puts a few more names on the map and in terms of cases and missing people or true crime related, whatever in between. But they don't go any further. And if they did go further, they probably could add a lot more value, but they don't because they move on to the next hottest topic and trend, right? Not everyone will directly have that mindset, but it could be interpreted like that, okay? That's why when it comes to me, instead of me hopping about from case to case, I try and focus on one or two at a time so I don't get too confused, so I can maintain focus, understanding, consistency, and then the audience can learn clearer along the way. So the bit about saying you are creating the drama is an invalid point and there is no proof or evidence of that. I was covering the case and then I was attacked. I simply defended myself and then I was attacked again, right? If I was to stop making videos about the whole case, yeah, the attacks would stop. But I'm interested in this case, so I want to continue. If I was to simply stop making videos like this, covering or highlighting the conflict and resistance, would it stop the attacks on me? No. It would keep on going, but it would be in the background. It would snowball effect, and I don't defend myself, so more people get confused and listen to, the lies, etc. It builds up, and then more people go against me and turn on me. Here, no, but elsewhere. And, you think of a snowball effect, it just builds and builds and gets bigger and bigger. If there is a solution to reduce it or to fix the problem, then that's what one should do. And that's what I'm doing, such as right now and in the future as well. Okay? What else? You go out of your way to create problems. So you're saying that because I covered the Noah Presgrove case every single day almost, and I keep the case alive single-handedly on YouTube, that I am creating problems. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Not. The bit about as soon as possible you make a video about being silenced. Well, of course, it's important to highlight the breaking news as soon as possible so people are up to date and not left in the dark. Because, when your videos are reported, or there could be danger, or there could be some harm towards your channel, even when it's not right or not fair, you've got to act quick, because if you don't, things could go wrong and you wouldn't have any time to explain. So you've got to do it fast, right? You say, this is not for Noah. You landed on a little gold mine. Have I ever referred to this case as a gold mine? No. And in what way is this case a gold mine? What's that supposed to mean? It seems like this person, Dream, seems to know more about it being a gold mine than I do. What does that say about this person? It says more about them than it does about me. I just so happen to have come across this case, okay? Bit of a viewer request like it was in the past, and that always works well, right? When I just so happen to find it interesting as well based on that condition. So I'm interested in the case. It is interesting. It's a bit spooky, bit of a creepy atmosphere, quite a bit of depth to it, material to work with, map analysis, just like how it is with previous stuff. So I've got things to work with. I can think outside of the box, still listening to the other key people and their experience. It's a good place to be at the moment, and in terms of the community, mainly positive as well. And from all the support in different ways, how people contribute to the channel and even the case by leaving comments, questions, and much more, it does all help, and it just shows that I'm on the right path. I mean, yeah, I could move on to another case and it could get 100 views and it does absolutely nothing. That would be pointless to me, because if my aim is to spread awareness and keep stuff alive, well, I'm not exactly completing that brief. But at least here, it's getting out, enough people are watching, a range of people are sharing, commenting and liking, and whilst that can help the video's performance on my channel and my channel growth in general, whilst, yeah, it does help, it's still, ticking the brief, the objective to keep the case alive, to spread awareness, because I am hitting good numbers, meaning more people will hear about the case and learn about potential evidence comparisons along the way. It goes hand in hand. Was it planned that this was going to work out? No. I just decided to cover it because I thought, well, let's take a look. Oh, I'm interested in it. Let's do a few videos. Then there was a positive reaction from people. And it's like, well, I might as well continue onwards, because this is the type of stuff I do when it comes to true crime or missing people cases or mysteries and sub-factors crossing over with one another. It's like normal stuff, so why not do it? But it's interesting how this person calls it a gold mine. Well, if it's such a gold mine and you seem to be an expert on that, why not, make some videos then, Dream? I mean, we can have a brief look now. When did they join? Let's have a quick look. Sometimes this can reveal stuff. Joined 22nd of August 2022. So likely this account is not a fake one. It's not an impersonation account like it was in the Dylan Brown's case. Take in mind, when YouTube channels are created like 1 week, 1 month ago, you can be very skeptical. But this was years back, so it's not that suspicious. But obviously they've got zero content on their channel, zero contribution to the case, right? So they're not in any position to be talking, right? Now, I believe they do pop up on another video complaining. Let's take a closer look. What you see on screen was to do with the video that I uploaded last night to do with the dove hunt. And as I said, Dream pops up again 10 hours ago, edited their comment since. They say, Warlight Ref, you need to stop using direct comments from other sites that you're not even a part of. Yeah, about that. We'll get to that later. You are hovering over them all and using what you read for your own content without stating where you got it. You're a vulture. Use what you found, but disclose where you got it and who wrote it. You're being given a bit of grace for not jumping on the Noah bandwagon. It now appears you are doing just that. In addition, publicly outing someone's real name, username, who they are, and who they're related to is a shit move. It's greedy and lazy and shows you care more about getting views for yourself and Noah. Well, this is very interesting because Dream contradicts himself, almost like a microcosm of those directly within the case. Dream says that, I read and I use it for my own content without stating where I got it. So supposedly Dream is saying, but I don't credit people as to what was said, where it was said. I don't credit people. But then down below you start saying, now you're outing people's real name, usernames, etc. And that's a bad move. Well, you just contradicted yourself, because when I've gone over post here and there where it said their full names, showed their face, and that's publicly viewable, I've read out the comments or I've read out the research, I've added my own commentary over it, and directly or indirectly I've credited them because you see their names on screen. You see where it's coming from, the horse's mouth, and yet this person, Dream, is claiming that I don't credit people, I don't show where information comes from, but at the same time Dream is having a go at me for revealing people's names on screen. And when I'm doing my research, you can't have both. It's one or the other. You just contradicted yourself, you complete plonker, right? This person is a complete plank. But let's just start from the top, right? Dream says you need to stop using direct comments from other sites that you're not even a part of. What you don't understand, Dream, is I just so happen to be a member on those sites, okay? The Noah Presgrove Army Facebook page, which ever since has gone private. At first, I was able to look at it because it was public. Then after, it went private, so I couldn't see it. But I requested to join. One of the key admins, Justin Roy, accepted me. Dusty in the background accepted me. They appreciate my coverage. They're quite positive, good individuals. There's no issues. I even directly reached out to Justin and said, whilst this group is now private, but I do have access to it, am I allowed to relay information, photos and stuff like that? And Justin said, absolutely no problem, right? I asked before I posted and it was all okay and under control. It's the same with the Reddit page. When it originally went private, I could no longer view it. I requested to join, and one of the odd admins here and there accepted me, welcomed me, was positive and nice, no issues. I was just wondering, can I still look at stuff? Can I repost it elsewhere and give my own analysis on the matter? And they said, sure, it's fine. The only reason why we privatized it was because of the resistance, the dark forces coming within. And that was the same reason on Facebook, right? So there were no issues there. And that my videos ever since, which looks at that type of material, which I did explain, does help my understanding and others within the case when learning along the way. In order for me to see those comments from those other sites, I need to be a member of, because they are private, or at least some were at some point at the time of when I made videos. So for Dream to say that you're not even a part of them, you're not even a member on those pages, well, that's invalid. You got that wrong. I am a member, right? I was accepted. So this is a little bit pathetic what Dream is saying here. You can't even get it right, can you? What else? You were hovering over them all. Well, of course, you got to go from place to place to understand the different perspectives. You know, one might be quite strict and tight with the rules and regulations and all about the facts, and then another page could be a bit more open and loose, but it does allow more perspectives and understandings and even more material, which you may not see elsewhere. There's no harm in that, right? Providing correct language, appropriate wording is used. Dream says that when I do use material from other places, content, I'm not stating where I got it from. Yet when you look at my videos, I literally show it on screen. Hey, we're on Reddit today. Look at this post. Look at these comments. You can clearly identify the page because the information what I'm reading out, I've got it on the bloody screen. How much more clearer do you want it? Right? This person has no clue what they're talking about. It seems evident that they don't even watch my videos with all these false claims being made. It's not a good look by this person, is it? Okay, what else do we have? You have been given a bit of grace for not jumping on the bandwagon. But it now appears you are doing the same thing. But how? You don't explain. No elaboration. That's a bit pointless, isn't it? Invalid claim again. In addition, publicly outing someone's real name or username is a bad move. Well, first and foremost, these people's names are public viewing. You can type these people's names in on Facebook and you will see them. You will find them. If humans had such an issue with privacy, then they shouldn't be creating social media accounts with their full names, their workplace, where they live and all of that. Make it private, keep it private. And whilst you could use a counterpoint and say, yeah, but these people are within a private group, so it makes their profile private. No, it doesn't. That's complete BS. They might be a part of a private group, but their own profile is separate. And you can type their names in and you can find them, you can search them for whatever reason. If people don't want their names to be shown, then they shouldn't make them public to begin with. It's as simple as. It's like, you know, if you had a YouTube channel, do you use your real full name or do you use a random fantasy style name? Magic Plum, right? Which one do you want? Do you want one for anonymity, bit of privacy, or are you okay with being transparent, open, and it's about a specific brand? You know, you got the choice. People make the choice to create a social media account. People make the choice to put their information publicly online for public viewing in the public domain. If people have a problem with that, then they need to change it, right? And what I've looked at is have all been public knowledge and public information. So this person has no clue what they're talking about, right? What else? It's greedy and lazy and shows you care more about getting views for yourself. I mean, just in a general situation, if a person really cared about views, then they'd be making a video saying something like, cause of death revealed, we know exactly what's happened, the truth has been revealed, blah, 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 blah. But it hasn't, has it? But someone could word it like that and say it's over and done with, the case has been solved, the real killer has been revealed, their identity. Have I done any of that? No. Is there a reason to? No. Is it time to do so? No, because there's not enough evidence. So this person is a pathetic excuse of a human, possibly a fully grown adult that maybe elsewhere, maybe from Facebook, you never know, that claims to care about the case themselves, and then they play themselves up here acting like a complete idiot. But, as you know, they've got a default profile picture, they've got a random username, so they are hiding in a cowardly fashion. They could appear on Facebook under their real name, real profile picture, whatever, and you may never know. But just to at least highlight these alternative accounts, these waves of resistance, do I believe that this is directly someone within the case itself? No, I think it's like part of the general public, someone that's passionate about the case, but too passionate that they're blinded by stuff, conflicts of interest, and they just don't like opposing people doing an analysis on the matter. So there's one. The other person is a bit further up, so just bear with me. Here we go. Andrew Stanley, from the looks of it. They said, your videos frustrate me because they are full of fluff. You don't have enough content, so you stretch your thoughts out. I don't have an hour and a half every day to keep up with one new fact about the same case. I do appreciate what you're doing for justice as the case, but at this point it looks like you're milking it for subs. What I find extremely cringeworthy and pathetic is all these humans out there on different platforms in life and in real life like to use their fancy little buzzwords and lines. Oh, you're doing it for clicks. Oh, you're doing it for likes. You're milking it. But they never have full-on proof to put that point across. They just throw it out there because it sounds fancy, sounds quirky, and it's absolutely pathetic, right? I did do a response myself, but let's just see what other people have had to say. What not? The last 10 minutes he solved this case. Did you stick around till the end? How many of you remember... Okay, that's something else. John, if you want someone who copies everyone else's, this isn't it. There are definitely questions that should be asked and aren't being asked anywhere else. I appreciate that from John. That's good of him. What else? Okay, too many questions there, all about Masonic, but let's just focus in on my response. I said, these videos are effortlessly made due to my extensive experience covering cases. The longer you do something, the better you get at it, and it's not as hard with time, and it becomes second nature as well. Whilst others will move from case to case like the big channels, as we've already seen, I lock on. But why? Because I have more stamina than most people, physically and mentally, that I can go deeper than other people can, that I see things other people don't see in the appropriate nature. I don't mean I see ghosts or I see devils, but within cases, within material, text, conversations, text, I can look in between the lines, I can look in the background of an image, and I might be able to pull something out which no one else could, right? I can question things other people don't. I can analyze things other people don't. Self-explanatory, right? Hence why my videos are longer, because there is more to talk about, because I have more to talk about and I can see more, right? So naturally it will just make it longer. And more videos are made over time. And because I focus on one thing, then move on to the other, that's done so we don't go off track, right? It's better to spend an hour covering one subject than spend 5 hours covering 15 different things all over the place. There are other channels out there that do it longer. We'll get to that shortly. Your wording of milking hasn't been backed up with solid evidence, thus meaning it's invalid, just like the other person, beach person. You may have a slightly degenerative attention retention span, though that's not for me to fix unless you want me to fix it. Finally, as for long videos, you fail to acknowledge that other people do 4-hour live streams, 5-hour live streams, 8-hour live streams, and for what? I think it's a bit too long, I think it's a bit too excessive, and what tends to happen within those longer videos and live streams, a small portion of time or to a certain point, maybe half or under, is about the case, and then the rest is just going on about completely other random things, yet the title and the thumbnail is supposedly all about the case, but the video isn't. Yet when you look at my videos, majority of my content within the video is about the title or the thumbnail or the case in general. I try and keep on topic and subject as much as I can and lock on with one point or two and then move on to the next, right? And that's consistency. Was there anything else to highlight there? So it does seem like there's been a few people here and there, other people as well from the UK, and I've seen it on Facebook where people have said, well, like, Raf, you really anger me, you really frustrate me with your voice, with your face. It's very interesting how much I trigger people and I'm not even trying. Maybe that applies elsewhere as well in life. Anyway, you don't have enough content. If I didn't have enough content, then how come within a couple of weeks I've made double the videos? Explain to me how within 28 days I've managed to make 54 videos, mainly about the case of Noah Presgrove. Oh yeah, that's really lacking content. Now what Andrew says here and what Beach says elsewhere, some of the language and wording sounds like the small-minded mentality of those from Kaylee's channel, Disease-Ridden Humans, that have an agenda against me, made false claims about me copying their content, etc. And I think it's absolutely pathetic. with zero proof and evidence, making them look more prats, right? So, it's not just about justice for the case, it's awareness, it's keeping it alive. I might not be able to deliver the pure justice because I'm not the one in power, I'm not the judge, I'm not the police guy, but I can cover the justice. I can spread awareness about justice, right? We need to get the wording correct. But milking for subs, I wasn't even aware what number I was on. It was only recently when Skeptical said, good job, you're nearly at 13,000 subs. And then I looked and I thought, what? When did that happen? Huh? I didn't even pay attention. So, due to me being completely in the dark about it and unaware, well, I can't be milking it if I'm completely unaware of it. It's just happening indirectly, naturally in the background, passively. That's not me. People are choosing to watch for a reason. People are choosing to remain for a reason. People are choosing to support the channel for a reason. People are choosing to subscribe for a reason. It's their own personal choices, and of course it's much appreciated. But this person here is like saying, no, you can't do this, you shouldn't be doing this. You can't be controlling other people then. So there are a few humans. But let's head on over to Reddit. We've got some unfinished business over there. Well, here we are on the Noah Presgrove deep dive page, an alternative place to talk about the case. And, they've provided some interesting material, granted, and shout out to Chemist as well. Also been present on YouTube recently, so that's all positive to see. But supposedly, Chemist, it just so happens that one of your moderators has been a little bit toxic recently. Or at least from the last time I checked, they were a moderator on this page. Because the name seems to match up, but we'll get to that shortly. Just as for context, this was 4 days ago. A person, not even me, posted my video. Credit to them. I appreciate that for spreading awareness and sharing my video. It's good of Chemist. Chemist to do that. That's all good. But what about the comments, the reactions from people, right? Impossible War. This is the moderator on this page, or at least at the time they were the moderator. And when I say were, I mean at this moment in time of me recording, okay, right now. So, Impossible War says, news to me, a Snapchat lasts 24 hours. So when my kid snaps a picture of me and I tell him I don't want him sending that to anyone, I hate my pic getting taken. And he says, Mom, I'm just sending it to ... Don't worry, it's just a snap, it's quick. I thought Snapchat was gone as soon as the person opens it. Gotta go find my kid. He's got some slaying to do. Well, this is the thing. When did I say about a 24-hour period? Unless I said it's timed. I gave the explanation that, it could either be, you click on it, you view it, and then once you viewed it afterwards, you can't look at it anymore, a disappearing message. But then I also said that there could be options it could vary to a certain length of time, right? I gave the comparison to Instagram DMs, where a person can send you a photo, some kind of disappearing photo, where you click on it one time, and then after that, you can't click on it again. Maybe you could click on it like very quickly after clicking off it, but you've got a limited time as to how long you can view that photo for. And then afterwards, it will remain there as a tab saying photo posted. But if you click on it, it won't allow you to click on it or view it, right? So it's like the equivalent to Snapchat in a way. So I don't think it was that deep, to be honest. What else? So this person called Realist. Sorry, but this guy, Warlight Wrath, is a goon, boring to listen to and has zero facts, all just hearsay. So you're telling me, Real, that Reddit pages, Facebook pages where the majority of conversations and discussions come about in the first place are all about facts? Please. This case is full of ideas, which isn't a problem, as long as appropriate wording is used, which for most part of it seems to be the case. There are supposed events that did happen, and he said, she said, but do we have the full-on concrete evidence and proof? No, we don't always have that. The odd few people in the background might and may have seen it, but as for the general public, different story. So, I think this is quite an ignorant comment by Realist, what they had to say. Sorry, Warlight Wrath has a boring voice to listen to. I mean, Real, All you had to do was ask me, did you want me to talk in a Jamaican accent, a Chinese accent, a Hong Kong accent, a Ugandan accent, an Indian accent, French accent, an American accent, a country accent, 15 different accents? Yeah, I can do. Maybe it won't be as boring for you to listen to. But then again, due to this mindset and attitude, you probably get triggered by it and say, that's wasted. Yeah. Is it one of those type? Who knows? But what does chemists say in response? Posting everything I come across, to each his own, as far as what they want to glean from it, or if they want to scroll on past. I'm just glad Noah is on tongues, it's being talked about, right? I respond back saying, you seem to have a bit of an obsession with me. Interesting. Maybe I picked up on them having an obsession earlier than they acknowledged it themselves in their mind, but I did have a brief look at some of their comments, and there was a couple of complaints about me. So you never know, some of these people on Reddit could be the ones reporting my videos. You never know, right? Real says, laughing my arse off with a degenerative crying laughing emoji. The moment a human has to resort to degenerative millennial like Gen Z type and other types of generation communication online with the usage of emojis to demonstrate emotions and reactions, they've clearly lost the argument to begin with, because it's such a degenerative, cringeworthy tone, to be honest. Laughing and crying, so obviously not taking the situation serious enough. So was your original point serious enough to begin with? Or is this all one big joke? Because at the end of the day, one person here is covering the case almost day in, day out with a serious tone and nature. Maybe the ones complaining aren't exactly taking it as serious, and maybe they're the ones that don't actually care. Anyway, Real says, not even close. If I had an obsession, I would be able to watch longer than 3 minutes of your videos. However, I can't stand the sound of your voice and listening to you ramble on about things you found on the internet. So what are you doing, Realist? How are you contributing to the case besides spending your time complaining and whining about me and saying how much you don't like my voice and you find it boring? You say how an obsession would mean being able to watch a video longer than 3 minutes long. Well, this is the thing, and obviously you've clearly failed to understand it. Obsessions can come in different shapes and sizes. You can have, most obsessions are unhealthy, right? Some people could be obsessed with exercise, and whilst that could be deemed as a good thing, if you overdo it, overwork yourself, you could become too exhausted, muscle fatigue, you could end up burning off calories and much more than what you should be, and sometimes that could burn off the fat too much, so it then goes into the muscle storage and then starts using that as energy and burns that off, and then you lose muscle mass, right? It's not exactly a good outcome, is it? You could be eating healthy, or you could be maybe a vegetarian or a vegan, and you really are obsessed about it and keep up with it to the point where you're not getting the correct nutrients in your body, and you suffer, right? An obsession with what I was getting at here, Realist, is you have an obsession, like a negative obsession with me, and just constantly complaining and going on about me. Instead of talking about me, my voice, my presence, my videos, why not focus elsewhere, such as on the case itself at hand, or better still, step up yourself and do some coverage. Okay, if you've got such a problem with me, if you think you can do a better job, and do it yourself, but I don't seem to see that at this moment in time. So yeah, if we just click here, I don't know if it will allow me on. So this is the person, Realist. They do have a bit of a default profile, as expected. The default profile is of a female, so likely this could be a female complaining about me. And if you wonder why I use the term female, in case anyone got triggered with that, it's because one doesn't know the age of the person, okay? If you're talking about a range of different age ranges, collectively as a group of people, or the uncertainty as to who one is, the term female is the correct biological term to describe those type of people, okay? If you say girl, well, that implies you talk about someone of a much younger age, right? If you talk about woman, women, that's of a, adult age and onwards, okay? If you say lady, well, that's kind of like adult age onwards, but maybe with a bit more of a respect, presence, tone in appropriate manner, respected, polite, etc. But I don't think this person's a lady from their tone of voice. But what do they have to say? Do they have any other points to make? Noah's hidden relationship with Jasmine Milan. Hidden, it's public knowledge. They dated prior to his death. I don't believe they were dating when his tragic death occurred, but I also don't believe there's anything hidden about dating. Well, some of the footage and some of the photos weren't always there, or at least they weren't exactly made to public knowledge. Not everybody knew about it, so in the eyes of some it could be considered hidden. And the hidden meaning behind it, the hidden aspect as to who was behind that camera recording Noah and Jasmine kissing one another, that's hidden, that's unknown of. So clearly this person fails to understand the depth of my content, which is typical, but you know, if they spend only 3 minutes watching my videos, then obviously they're not going to know what's it about. Side skies again, buoyant, yeah, we've seen that before. Okay, oh, this is the actual Noah Presgrove main community. Right, so it looks like they're somewhat on good behaviour elsewhere, but when it comes to my videos, being a bit of a naughty individual. What's else? Unsolved Death in Noah Presgrove documentary. Sorry but not sorry, you sound like AI robot. You can't even spell that correct, you prat. You give no good intel, all this offer for real. Now, I don't know what that video is. I don't know if that's to do with someone I know of, but, you know, if they do use AI, it's probably just because they don't want to share their voice. But, you know, it looks like they've got a bit of a complaint when it comes to other people trying to cover the case. Oh, I respect all he's trying to do, but damn, he's hard to follow and concentrate on. Footage of property found. Well, there we go. So that was a video by me, what I did. And that was 8 days ago. So 8 days ago, Realist was already complaining about me. You know, oh, I respect all he's trying to do. And then you see the comment what they've had to say just recently. It seems like kind of the opposite. You say, oh, he's so hard to follow and concentrate on. Oh, I'm sorry, is that because of my boring voice and tone? Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Well, there'll be many other humans out there who will have an annoying tone, if not worse. Okay? Footage of property found. Cannot wait to see this. Oh, they were actually positive and happy at the time. And then afterwards, they were like, no, I don't like it now. Okay, a bit of a roller coaster ride. To correspond with a possible cover-up. What's this lady's name? Yeah, she stated that she watched video of YouTube. Okay, evidently Steve has been. So this person has specifically on Reddit contributed. On YouTube, not at all. Right, so the reason why it's important to look at previous comment history, because then you get an idea of how long they've been around for, but you also see both of their sides, their positive side, their negative side. And as you know, when it comes to me, Warlike Wrath, I always see people's dark side before anyone else does, or most of the time at least. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I saw the devil at a young age and people are somewhat, you know, fixated on me or have some kind of dysfunctions towards me, but you know, the way some people act and, you know, maybe on a one-on-one situation or even sometimes behind closed doors, yeah, they just show that different side to them, and I see it very clearly. And that's why I bring it to the light so more people see it themselves, because you can read these comments here and think, oh, this person cares about the case and, you know, they're giving their thoughts and ideas. But then when it comes to Warlike Wrath, they seem to have major issues and complaints, which is kind of unnecessary, right? And I can't even spell at times, so that's a bit silly. Now, that wasn't just the main thing, okay? I'm just going to... Oh, actually, it doesn't matter, it's gone now. So Realist, a bit of a problematic person, but this is where we get onto Impossible War. This is when Impossible War jumps on in. One of the moderators on the Reddit page decides to turn on me, calls me out. Interesting. They say, the guy's a dick. I was happy to see Noah's name getting out there, but this guy blew it. He goes shopping for content, doesn't care whose it is, doesn't care for facts. They don't get clicks and views, right? He creates drama, then makes a new video about said drama. It's gross and sad. Poor Noah. So this sounds very similar to what we saw by that beach person with that blue profile picture on YouTube. So what, are you going around on different channels and pages with different names? I'm not saying that's for definite because they're two different names here, but... I don't know, it's just like the concept and what's being said here sounds very similar to what we saw on YouTube. But interesting in how Impossible War, the first thing that this person says is that Warlike Wrath is a dick. Well, at least it confirms my gender, which is correct about that at least. And I think this person said I was small or something. I don't know where we're going there. That's a bit out of context, but I think that might be a bit further down. Impossible says, I was happy to see Noah's name being talked about, but Warlight Raf blew it. How? How exactly? Shopping for content. Shopping. So what Impossible is saying here, if you get involved in a case and you go about doing research to actually learn about the case, that's considered shopping and a bad thing to do, and it's immoral. So how the hell are you supposed to learn about the bloody case? That is absolutely pathetic what Impossible has said here, right? Impossible says, Warlight Raf doesn't care whose content it is, doesn't care for the facts. Well, I care enough to use appropriate language in my videos day in, day out, something which you fail to do yourself, you impetuous plum. You need to get a grip of yourself. It's embarrassing what I see here. Impossible says he creates drama. Creating drama when, once again, as you see as a microcosm, the first person here is the one complaining in this comment thread, calling out Warlight Raf. What do? Simply defend myself. What happens because of that? I'm called the one who's creating the drama. So are you telling me that if I ever got punched or slapped in the face for no real reason, that if I fought back in self-defense, then I'm considered the one that started it? This is literally sounding like high school behaviour, where you get a bully who does bad to a victim, the victim defends and stands up themselves against the bully, then the teacher comes on over, tells off the victim, how could you punch him? How could you talk back? Naughty, naughty, naughty. And yet the bully, the instigator, gets away with it. That's exactly how this is sounding. And if we're talking about how high school type behaviour, that might link to the mentality and capacity of this impossible war, okay? To have war in your name, a bit, not deserving of that, right? Especially when Warlight Raf's present. Anyway, it's gross and sad. No, what's sad is your lack of understanding. Oh, he goes on more obsessions showing. Warlight Raf. Well, at least you're crediting my full username on YouTube. I guess that's a positive to take away from this video. But Impossible says, clearly, there's more people realising you're an obnoxious little man riding the Noah train. You do your shopping here to get content, then you take people's comments word for word and make them yours. Nope, that's incorrect. And in the absence of new facts, you make up crap and put it on your YouTube page. Then you happily create drama, and now you've got content for your next video titled, I'm being silenced again. Well, that's an observation. That's what was happening. I mean, the resistance you're showing, did you silence my video then? Right? Can't help but think. I saw all your other content. You're what in sports we call a cherry picker. Minimal effort, but wants all the high fives, lazy, and you're proud of yourself. Being all tough with your replies, telling people that you don't care. A bit cocky. No, do better. So what Impossible War is trying to do here is use the Warlight Raf dictionary and vocabulary, but it's failing pretty hard. And once again, it's a little bit embarrassing, right? By me responding back, simply defending myself and highlighting the impetuous nature of humans with their dense, one-sided, selective mindset, that's considered acting tough. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying at all. I'm just simply responding back when necessary, when appropriate, defending myself like how anyone would do in a normal situation, and, maintaining a form of balance to understand the different perspectives and to even highlight and show them, even if it portrays me in a negative light. Because a lot of comments what we're seeing today have been very negative about Warlight Raf, could be considered discrediting Warlight Raf, and even random people that come along and watch this video might have a negative outlook of me. But I'm willing to show it publicly and to share it about. So you see what people think about me, but it also gives me the opportunity to respond back and defend myself. and set the record straight, just like I've done all the other times, because you never know. You could be interacting with these people, or you already have been. Now you see this other side to them, right? That's why it's important to pass the message on. What do I need to respond back to here? Well, first of all, impossible. Let's just see if there's any responses since. No, there isn't, but I'm sure there will be if this person's got more things to say and likes having the final word in the conversation, but nevertheless. Impossible War says, Warlight Wrath, more and more people realise you're very obnoxious and you're a little man riding on the train. First things first, if I'm a little man, I'm 6'2", 224 pounds. I don't think that's considered little, do you? Unless you have high expectations. You know, it's starting to sound like, by the way, I don't date men who are under 7 foot tall. It's just not good enough. That's how it could be interpreted, okay? I'm not implying what gender this person is, though, just in case you get triggered by that itself. I said specific wording and language, and just basing it off an interpretation, and that is all. There we go, we can be very clear. So, I'm 6'2", I'm considered a little man. Okay. I'm riding the Noah train. Why is that? Because this case is popular. I mean, there's other cases out there more popular. Sebastian Rogers case. Recently, the Jay Slater case. Am I plastering myself all over there, day in, day out? Not so much. I'm focusing on Noah. You need to take in mind Impossible War, if you did your research to do with my channel and coverage, I single-handedly covered a case which was dying by the second, the Dylan Rounds one, when all the other people and creators moved on to bigger, better cases, right? And I say bigger, better in the mindset of them, because more popular things were coming out to do with other cases. You know, Kylie, Rodney, Idaho 4, and then whatever else was around at the time. And whilst other people moved away and covered that and abandoned the Dylan Rounds one, someone had to remain, because if everyone moved away, well, then that case would die out on YouTube. But it didn't die out because I remained and I covered it. 2 years later, I finished what I started. The case was, for the most part of it, resolved, and there was justice for Dylan. I kept the case alive, and even the mother indirectly appreciated my coverage on the case. I also appeared in the Paramount Plus documentary, along with other things as well, right? What have you done, Impossible War? Are you some kind of body double of me, but a less successful version? And as I said, that was just being light-hearted, that's all. Okay? Some people could say, well, what's the success within it all? Oh, because you do videos and you're getting lots of views. I mean, there can be blurred lines and there can be misinterpretations. Of course, if you get lots of views on your videos, it's a positive thing just in general in life. It shows that something's working. But more importantly, if your original aim and goal is to spread awareness, and that correlates to more people coming on in, you have completed that objective, which is a positive itself. And I think that's what's been achieved already recently, which is good. Now, what happens if this case does die out or isn't as important, you know, in some people's minds? Because, you know, cases out there, depending on how long they're going for, do have a life cycle, a shelf span, as bad as that may seem. People do move away, people do move on, both the audience and creators, yet I stick around. To the best of my ability, I stick around for as long as I can, okay, and for as long as possible to cover stuff which is appropriate. I don't start forcing things out. I didn't do that in Dylan Brown's situation. So this person hasn't done their research about me or how I do things, right? I mean, you're supposed to look about, you're supposed to look elsewhere and get the research, right, and learn, because you got to look somewhere in the first place, right? It's the same as to what viewers do themselves. And once again, when I do my videos, I do credit people. I literally share it on screen, just like how credit to Impossible War for being an impetuous, negative individual, more focused about calling me out instead of focusing on the case at this moment in time. There you go, gave you some credit. Is that good enough? Yes? No? Probably not. Anything else? Make them yours. That I'm making word for word comments and stuff mine. No, because what I say is from what this person said, from what that person said, from what's been said already, from what's been suggested, that's what I've said, right? And even on the odd time, I might word it as like, this is what's happened, but I've not always given where it came from. In other videos I have. And to be honest, there are many people out there in the community who may not be creators, but audience members and participators on Facebook that will word this and that as a fact when it shouldn't be, and it's not a fact. So people do make mistakes, right? People do use more dodgy wording than I do. And there's other people out there that won't quote or rephrase where it came from. So to just single me out and, call me, I think it's a bit of a witch hunt. I'd arguably say that my language and wording is a lot more of appropriate nature than most humans out there, right? And I do take the time in consideration to include that in my videos. But, depending on how long you watch for, you may not understand that, right? What else do we have here? You happily create drama. I don't cover conflict and all that for fun. I cover it for research. I cover it for education, for people to look, listen and learn from it, adapt as a human in the future. There are people on my channel that still remain till this day, credit to them, that came from the Dylan Browns case. Some may have struggled to break from certain cycles of drama and conflict. I raised the points, the questions, the themes, the key talking points. It helped people, and now people aren't in those same old cycles anymore. Others out there may be lost causes, but there's not much I can do about that. So there are positive benefits and effects as to my coverage on certain themes and topics, right? Just like how there is right now. My video, my coverage, my documentation of this all may help allow people to learn as to who is who, because there might be some people watching right now that know these humans, right? And now see a different side to them. So then you know how to approach these type of people in the future, or just avoid them outright. Again, there's always a long-term aspect with certain videos and coverage, but this person doesn't look beyond. That's why they fall short. What else? Cherry picker, minimal effort. I mean, I do have a range of different videos on my channel which have maximum effort, high quality visual videos with narration-based input, deep mysteries, very interesting, very high quality. And did they perform? No. Was I very disappointed? My disappointment was beyond immeasurable, because the amount of time I put in, 2 days with, other times I put in 12 hours a day for 3 days straight, covering a case from start to finish. I put so much time and effort in, and it was extremely disheartening, and it still is till this day, knowing all that effort for nothing. I wanted to spread awareness with other cases and mysteries. It failed. I failed. I wasn't happy with it. And then I was like, you know what? Let's conserve your energy. Let's do something else. And it's worked since. I have outright, said it publicly, honestly, on YouTube, that the more effort I put in, the worse off I am. The more effort I put in, the more likely I am punished by YouTube, because my videos aren't put out there as much. The less effort I put in, but still retain the quality of information provided and the analytical abilities and skills, the videos perform a little bit better, or at least how they should be expected to perform to the minimum, right? It's weird. It really is. Maybe I do a separate video or some kind of post on the community page at the before and after. I did one video, got 1,000 views just about. Very low click rate through. It should be much higher, but something didn't work, and yet I put more effort and higher quality into that in terms of the editing aspect. That's what I mean by levels of effort or lack of effort. In terms of these videos of Noah Presgrove, the very first Noah Presgrove video that I did, honestly, I wasn't expecting anything. I just thought, well, it's just a bit of an experiment. We'll just see how it goes. I'll have a quick look at the case to learn about it on the spot. Fast forward now, it's at over 10,000 views. That shocked me. Not at one point was I expecting that, but clearly I did something right. And ever since, I've done videos, and a fair portion of people have watched. People watch for a reason, for a choice, right? And it seems to work, so I'm doing something right. Even though this person may complain and have a go, the range of people that do watch, including admins from the Facebook page, including the odd family member of those within the case, the right ones, the good people, they approve of it as well. So, I don't know what the big issue is, right? Last but not least, you say, telling people that you don't care. Well, I don't use that line that often because what tends to happen is the majority of people out there that use the line "I don't care," they're still here and they're still talking and they're still replying. So obviously they care enough to continue the conversation, right? Once this video is done, it's one and done. We're not returning back to this specific thing, okay? This specific comment thread. I've made that very clear in the past as well. Other people aren't able to break that cycle. Says Warlight Ref is a bit cocky and that Warlight Ref needs to do better. I mean, this person could be considered as a bit patronising, but once again, they're just trying to use the Warlight Ref keyword terminology, okay? They want to be like me, it's just not going to work. It's like what other humans did in the past where they were trying to impersonate me with fake accounts. Did it work? No, because they couldn't match the same language and specific nature as to how I would, so they stood out. They couldn't replicate me for a good reason. But it just so happens that I can replicate other people in their voices, their accents, their mannerisms, their behaviours. It clearly shows that they're less unique, okay? They can be copied. They can be repeated. It's boring, okay? So, with that all being said, you get an idea as to what's going on, and it just happens to be a moderator on this page that has a problem with me. It's been a very interesting day looking at this type of stuff, and whether you call it necessary or unnecessary, this does revolve around the theme of Noah Presgrove. I'm doing my coverage. I'm being met with unknown resistance because of those false reports. Now more so being met with resistance from default profiles and people hiding behind accounts and hiding elsewhere on other platforms, and then some coming and going elsewhere from Facebook to Reddit to YouTube. It's getting about, isn't it? How much worse will it get? It can always get worse, okay? And it can grow in numbers. That's why I do my videos before it gets any worse, just to establish a bit of stability so people know who is who, where it's coming from, who's saying what, positive or negative, etc. Then we know how to deal with it in the future, and people are prepared more for the future if there are any unnecessary attacks towards me, my channel, the chat, the community. It's happened in the past. Think of it like World War I, World War II. Eventually it passes by. But at what cost? That's the important factor. And at least from the past, I came into a case. I wasn't involved in the drama. Maybe I got dragged in here and there, but defended myself and I pulled myself out at the end. And then I've moved on since onto other cases. And once again, seem to be caught up in certain things. I'm being dragged in. I'm defending myself, and then I move on. You do get these little intervals. You do get these bursts of whiny behaviour of people throwing toys out the pram. But the most interesting thing behind it all is the fact that there might be some people on my channel watching who may have interacted with these people or ones in the past before and may have not seen anything wrong within them. But because of my experience, I've demonstrated a different side to those people. So it might actually help you as a viewer watching in the future, so you know who to trust, who not to trust, and, you know, understanding that they might have a sharp tone, sharp sword when they talk, right? Because there are people as well from the past that are present in this case right now, and they're not causing any, well, to be honest, I was probably a bit too polite earlier on. Indirectly, they have caused trouble towards me, and I'll get to that later, but stick around. The other factor, though, to highlight, which is important, is that when it comes to these humans, right, and it's likely, because when I look at the statistics, when I look at the geographics, when I look at all the data on YouTube, majority of people watching these type of videos are of the age of 24 and above, up to the age of 65, 70 years of age. No problem, right? You'd think that if you as a channel can bring in a wide range of different ages, and more so adults, fully grown individuals that have maybe some form of experience in whatever field or just in life, who are developed humans with developed mindsets, have gone through the operational, concrete, pre-operational stages of development as a child with their mindsets, or at least hopefully, that you would think that it would turn out well. You know, let's say I did videos and it brought in a younger audience, you know, teenagers, young kids. They're not going to be able to comprehend things the same way. They're going to be degenerates. They're going to think of trends, insults, inappropriate words, things like that. It can happen, and when people do grow up, they grow out of it. So if you attract a certain type of audience, it might go wrong. And obviously younger people nowadays have a lower attention retention span for numerous reasons. For example, being in the presence of TikTok, where it's pushed about short, snappy videos, and even YouTube shorts. So if I attracted that audience, then I decided to make long format videos. Those people can't be bothered to watch, and they'll probably complain and say, boo, you're so silly, and then include the R word, some insults as well, you're sad, and then, you know, other insults as well. And it's pointless, it's toxic, it's not good. I've seen it in the gaming community. I detest most gamers out there because of their mentalities, their attitudes, their behavior, their responses. It's not positive, okay? And at times I might have attracted a couple of those people because I've just been talking about themes and topics about that type of stuff. Or more so, I've just been doing the general theme of gaming and gameplay, and it's brought in bad people. But I didn't ask for it, but it happens still. But when covering true crime, missing people cases, a range of different people from around the world can get involved. It tends to be from people from the US mainly, Canada, a bit of South Africa, and even Australia and the UK. Maybe a bit of German as well, Germany. I'm just talking about the stats from what I see in the background, okay? And it can differ, of course, on other pages and communities and sites, but it's just when I compile it together, you would expect that if it attracts an older audience, and I don't mean old in knackered, I just mean of an adult age and above, right? You'd think there'd be better reasoning, more respect and things like that, because, you know, like how older generations call out younger people for not showing any respect and being a bit entitled and, you know, me, demanding this and that and being rude. I think from what I've seen, all different generations can be as bad as one another. Not that everyone is bad, but people from different age groups can be dodgy, can be bad, can show a sharp side to them. It's not good, but I think one of the common themes was within the Dylan Rounds case, at least when looking back retrospectively, was a fair portion of humans out there, not directly on my channel, but just, you know, outsiders. It was like high school playground type behavior, very unnecessary, and yet it was demonstrated by fully grown adults that have more responsibilities, that have some kind of maybe high role job or something, and yet that's how they're acting online. It's embarrassing, and you get a much younger individual with less experience, such as myself, at the start of 2020 onwards, at the age of 20 years old, 24 now, and yet I've actually behaved and acted more appropriately when it mattered compared to fully grown adults who are a much older age and how they've acted. It really says a lot. And granted, whilst today's video hasn't indicated exactly what age people are, right, you could kind of assume that based off the patterns, what we've seen and the trends, it's probably going to be an adult of some sort with a certain mindset, right? And not exactly a complete one. I mean, I do understand by now that because I show so many different perspectives to the point where people beg me for my opinion, because I spend so much time looking at other people's opinions to complete that full understanding and circle. Not everybody can do what I can do, so there will be a language barrier. And I've not introduced that term exactly in the Noah Presgrove case. So in the Noah Presgrove case, from the resistance, what we've seen today, days before that on Facebook as well, within these key groups, certain members being problematic, there's clearly a language barrier. Humans not all understand me, okay? Misinterpret it, don't get the full picture, don't grasp it. And then they use their own mindset, their own observation, which tends to be false, incorrect, not quite filled out properly, not backed up enough. So language barrier there. And I've always said that when it comes to misunderstandings, it can lead to a bit of conflict, tension, and it could expand and exaggerate from there, escalate to possibly full blown out drama. I mean, you do get one-sided drama, back and forth drama with one another, communities at war. Is that what's going to happen here? There's been a few little insults and name calling, I guess, in general, like some on the Facebook page of Noah Presgrove's Army call out the Noah Presgrove Reddit page, and then some people in the deep dive Noah Presgrove Reddit page call out the other Noah Presgrove Reddit page. It's a bit back and forth all over. Yeah, I hover around from page to page, as you've seen, but for good reason, to look at it from different perspectives and to look at the different material, right? And as I've seen, the main point to take from it all is that the majority of people on YouTube, at least those that comment in the live chat or just the comment section itself, tends to be positive. And even if the negativity is the minority, it's still worth covering so you know and you're made aware of who these people are for the future, so you know who to avoid or at least how to deal with them in the future. Especially those that may come from further afar or operate on other pages like Reddit or Facebook, because you might already be talking to them right now, or you may face them in the future. Once you've seen their dark side, you'll have a better idea on how to approach them as a human or as a thing, whatever you want to visualize them as, like a dark energy or an actual person, whatever. But also, just as important, who can you trust in this case? Who do you look up to? Are the cracks starting to form? Are my inner predictions starting to awaken within? Because the way I see certain things is, if you start getting people of a slightly higher authority who are starting to act out and show their true colours, okay? People that may have been welcomed into a private group and accepted and trusted that they're good individuals and they mean well. And yet some of those people don't, because I see their dark side, and then they suddenly go against me and attack me just for trying to keep the case alive. The original people that put their trust in those individuals and accepting them onto the private pages, you might need to rethink your decisions again in the future as to who you can really trust. I said the cracks start forming. And as for those, and it applies to YouTube more importantly, but not quite right now. It applied in the Dylan Rounds case specifically. Right now it's applying more to maybe other pages and websites, but the moment you start adding someone as a moderator, you're giving them a form of power, permanent or temporary power, depending how long it lasts for. And by doing that, okay, they can abuse that power. Then they can give you a bad name or give your page a bad name. And that's what could be considered here on that Reddit deep dive page with that impossible war person. I said, at least from when I saw it last time, it appeared that they were a moderator. Are they now? I guess so. Could they be afterwards? Who knows? Not my decision. But all I'm saying is, you're going to start appointing people certain roles. You need to know who they are and whether you can trust them or not. Because if power gets to their head and they take over, they could screw everything up what you built, what you made. That's what happened in the Dylan Rounds case. Although there is other disease-ridden channels and creators out there, they did appoint other people, audience members, as mods during live streams. And what happened was some of those mods got a bit happy trigger and decided to start blocking people left, right and centre and censoring comments. And then the viewers felt betrayed by the channel creator and started calling out the channel creator for that. And yet it wasn't directly their fault. It was these moderators that were getting power to their head and taking over the show and ruining the experience for people. But it does link back to the responsibility of, if you're the channel owner and you're going to put someone as a moderator, you've got to trust them. Now, people could, twist it and turn it towards me and say, oh, so Warlike Ref, you've got no moderators on your channel. Is that because you don't trust anyone? See? I'm already ahead. People can twist the language, can't they? But no, the reason into why I don't have moderators on my channel is because there isn't any need to do so. Freedom of speech, number one, for as long as possible and in appropriate nature. If people did abuse freedom of speech, like I always said, with certain exceptions, then we need to look into it. But it's important for different points to show. And granted, not everybody's comments do show, but that's because of YouTube censoring people. Just like how to censor me on my own channel. There's nothing I can do about it, believe that. But whilst people comment on my channel, more so the live chat during my live premieres, it's like, not an expectation, but I trust and respect in people that watch my videos that they can control themselves of an appropriate nature and the adults that they may be. But granted, there will be some younger people that do watch my videos that actually might be behaving a lot better than certain older people are, here and there. Right, I saw it in the Kenny Veach case. It was very clear. But majority of people here are present, are positive, such as right now watching, and even those lurking in the background, those who just want to listen in, good individuals, but there will always be darkness and it needs to be brought to the light, and that's what I do. I've done it in the past, it worked, it helped people, I do it again. Why fix something that isn't broken, right? So I just got to keep it up with the formal procedures. It helps, and I can still spin other plates in the background. I mean, granted, today, will this be my main video? I guess it depends what the length of the video is like, but as a heads up to anyone wondering, the Justin Roy podcast interview, I'm definitely going to watch it. I'll do my own notes, I'll listen to it, and I'll do an analysis, a full-on one, because of course it's good to hear it yourself, I get that. When there's time, I will do that. In terms of the golf club, possible murder weapons, that will be the first video that I do next after this. And if you wonder why, it's because I did a poll last night, and from the last time I saw the poll results, about 42% wanted the golf clubs. 30% chose the option video of my choice. I have the final say. So that's positive, right? So it looks like golf clubs are high on the list to be covered, followed by a video of my choice. And I think one of the smaller voted options was the analysis of Justin Roy. That's interesting, isn't it? But, you know, you listen to what people want and what they say, and that's what I'll do. So next video, golf clubs. Video after that will be of my choice, which will be the Justin Roy interview. But in between, let's just slow it down, right? I understand going in very heavy, it can be a lot to take in, whether you're new to the channel, new to the case or not, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're a creator or a viewer. You look at a case, you look at the information or the supposed facts, there's a lot to take in, isn't there? There's a lot of names and initials to remember. Mistakes could be made. Confusion could come about, but it's natural. It's part of the process of learning, or at least trying to learn. You got to start somewhere. And when you do get the other humans out there that bash and complain and whine and throw the toys out the pram, they may have been in a position themselves where they messed up or did much worse, but they don't seem to acknowledge their past. And I think that's a common problem and theme with humans here and there in life, that they don't remember the past. So either they don't learn or improve in the future, or they just don't have that understanding for the future towards those who are going through a current thing, right? It's like the Dylan Brown's case, where you had certain people breaking away from a toxic community, finally got away, second wave and third wave broke away too, but they were criticised in the process by the first wave. And it's like, you know, you've all been in the same place and position, you should show a bit of a better understanding at least. Now, I might not have all the experience here and there because I don't put myself in dodgy positions quite the same way, and I don't get directly involved in the pure drama aspect. I only cover the stuff that's relevant to the case. So you could possibly get some kind of drama and conflict. As long as it's relevant to the case, it does need to be covered and documented. You could even argue, and no one's really said it, you could argue and say the likes of Stevie Howard, Sarah Long, discrediting, as seen by some, as others have labelled, gaslighting Caden Pressey, all key people within the case. Caleb Newton, Jack Newton, Colton Newton, threatening to go after somebody for texting and messaging Stephanie Millan, who was at the party, right? All of that can be considered drama, but people don't consider it drama. They just simply excuse it and say, this is all evidence in the making. We're seeing people for what they really are, people in their natural habitats, people throwing others under the bus. Let it play out. Let's see what happens. What can we get from it? Will someone incriminate themselves, etc., right? So that's allowed, but the moment I am being attacked by someone who may be in the case or not in the case, but they're in the community at least, and it is to do with Noah, the moment I cover that or, I don't know, do some kind of analysis, I'm seen as like a demon, a devil. The fuck? Anything that's about Noah Presgrove is somewhat important. Maybe not on the same level, varying degrees, but on like a hierarchical list. You know, wherever it ranks, if it's to do with Noah, it's important because it could link to something. It could reveal something, right? Do you really want problematic people in a community where it would create dysfunction, trust issues, confusion, annoyance, negativity? Do you want that in a case? Or do you want a community in general where it's a bit more positive, it's healthy, there is a level of patience, a level of understanding, different points of views, etc.? I know which one I would choose. Which one would you? So yeah, there's that. Now, to refer back to one other point, not exactly related to today's video, but is to do with the case. And personally, it's only going to be mentioned once in this video alone. I mentioned it indirectly as a one-time post on the community page. I didn't want to make a video about it. Even when I was being attacked and unfair things were happening, I didn't want to make a video about it because I was too busy focusing on Noah Presgrove. But it seems like people aren't aware. And I tried explaining myself, right? I did a full-on paragraph. I explained the situation. I didn't give the exact name of the person or the channel. I was hoping that people would pick up on it themselves. And I guess if you're new to my channel, new to this case, or just new to my channel, you're not going to know what's happened in the past. So I'll be honest, I'll explain it to you right now. You don't have to believe in it if you don't want to, but I'm just going to say it for how it is and from what I witnessed myself. There are clear key witnesses present watching right now that saw it happen in the past with their own eyes and ears because they were around on my channel and looking at other people's channel at the time. Okay? I mean, those who don't want to speak out, I understand because you might still be tied to those out there. Okay? I get that. Some may watch here and watch elsewhere. No issues, no pressure. Just like how it was in the Dylan Rounds case, you go where you need to go. That's okay. Of course, as I've said, if people then started saying bad things or turning on me in the background, then we would have a problem. And we did at times, but most people were able to control themselves, so at least what I can remember and what I hope, right? But there's no other way. Basically, in the Noah Presgrove case, you got a couple of channels covering the case, right? But I'm really the only one doing it on a day-to-day basis. Does that make me better? No. Okay? There are other channels out there which may be more developed, bigger, have a bigger audience, can spread more awareness. Okay. But it might be a one and done video that don't come back. So it is limited there to fall short. That's just an observation. You might have some other channels which may be smaller than mine, but they may go at it deeper in terms of one single video, like a 5-hour long one, an 8-hour long one. And for example, that would be Kaylee. Now, I'm sure most of you would have heard of that channel by now. I mean, I'll show like the odd photo on screen so you know exactly what YouTube channel I'm talking about. But Kaylee, once known as Kaylee333, a part of the Salty Pancakes crew. You may not know what that's about, but that's just to do with the past. But yeah, Kaylee has covered the Noah Presgrove case. Have I watched her videos? No. Do I want to watch them? No. It's for the best, okay? But the moment I came on in covering the case of Noah Presgrove, what happened was some people from Kaylee's community, her audience, the odd one, came on over to my channel and was making serious false claims that I was using other people's content and copying it. That I'm copying what Kaylee was doing as for a specific topic. But the actual fact was, I moved on to the Noah Presgrove case because there was viewer request on my channel to do so. I was completely unaware that Kaylee was covering it. And take in mind, no one has exclusive rights to covering just one case and one person assigned to it. That's absolutely pathetic, right? So there were certain audience members on Kaylee's channel making false, serious accusations, allegations about warlike wrath and copyright issues, copying other people's content such as Kaylee's. It wasn't backed up. There was no proof of it. It fell flat. But it was plastered about on other communities such as Twin Mama. Most of you won't know who that person is, but it's just another individual all tied together, such as in the past, with the Dylan Rounds case around 2022 onwards, right? Where they all got together in some way. So, with false claims being made, I had to defend myself immediately, but I didn't want to make a massive song and dance about it, right? So, yeah, I defended myself to an extent, and then more talk in the background about me, so I had to defend myself again just to protect my credibility, okay? Because when you get impressionable new viewers who may come across me for the first time, if they hear negativity about me, that's what their first impression will be, an outlook, and they may misunderstand me, and then it will go bad and negative, and it's not a good situation, is it? So, of course, try and set the record straight in a balanced way, and that's what I've done. And the reason why I'm doing this video, or at least making reference right now, is because not everybody knows about Kaylee and her past. And all I want to do, from what I witnessed, from what viewers witnessed on my channel in the past, is just to spread awareness so you're aware. And as well, I don't want to come across as rude towards new people on my channel and just people on my channel that say, hey, Warlight Ref, go over to Kaylee's channel, click on the link, click on that video, listen in. I don't want to, okay? There was trouble in the past. It doesn't need to be repeated again. I get attacked here and there. It's not necessary, but it happens, okay? I don't want to engage with cancer. I hope new people and those that may even look up to Kaylee, I hope you understand that it's better that I keep to myself, keep my head down, and just focus on the case at hand, and at times defend myself when needed. Okay, such as like in this video today. Hopefully people understand that. And, you know, right now people could be saying, right, so false claims were made by viewers on her channel. So how does that make her responsible? Why do you have such a big problem with that channel then, if it's just the audience? It's because people gather based off certain attitudes, personalities, and traits. And it kind of goes through and through with what I've seen in the past, and I'll explain it right now. So I do appreciate people's patience. I just want to make it very clear and outline it bit by bit so you understand where I'm coming from. So, Kaylee. I came across Kaylee in 2022 onwards, 28th, not 28th, you know, the 28th of May, 2022, the case of Dylan Rounds as it unfolded, and then came June or July when I got involved with the case in 2022 onwards. At some point I came across Kaylee, okay? Wasn't an issue at the time, but back then in 2022, Kaylee associated herself with salty pancakes, previously serving time in prison, okay? And also done for harassment as well, such as online. And as well, impersonation accounts, pretending to be other people, impersonating me. I was on the receiving end of it. Kaylee was a co-host on Salty Pancakes channel. As for the benefits that she got from it, I can't fully remember all that, but that doesn't really matter because it doesn't involve me there. But what I'm getting at is Salty Pancakes was a troublesome, problematic individual that started off somewhat okay, but then went off the wheels down the line, making serious false claims within the Dylan Rounds case, claiming that Dylan Rounds never was killed, that it was all planned and staged, calling it a simulation, it wasn't real life, that Dylan Rounds was playing a video game with a YouTuber in the background secretly, Farming Simulator. Salty Pancakes wasn't quite there with it at times. The lights were on, but no one was home. Yet Kaylee surrounded herself with that type of person, and so did some of her audience members as well, because they were all together at the time. Okay? Some people refer to it as a cult. Some refer to it as that Kaylee was trapped as like a victim, brainwashed within, and she couldn't escape. But she did stick around long enough, believe that. And when Salty Pancakes participated indirectly with prank calls, pranking people, calling up businesses, messing about, joking around, still kind of unnecessary, right? Wasting people's time. Kaylee enjoyed every second, laughed and giggled, okay? Might not be the person to directly cause these things, but was clapping along and, you know, kind of pushing it on. Yeah, go on, do it, by laughing, being a part of the audience. Kind of like if you had a high school situation, there was a bully, and then you had the crowd, the audience. They're just as bad because they're watching it, they're allowing it to happen, they're not contesting it. Okay? So this was during the Dylan Rounds case, where we're covering a true crime related case about a murdered individual, serious time, serious matter. And yet what Salty Pancakes was doing was making false claims left, right and centre, not exactly helping, going off the rails at times, attacking people for covering the case, having meltdowns, starting drama, having conflict with locals in the area of the case or nearby, which then led on to full-on war online, which kind of, overshadowed the case itself, which isn't a good thing. At times, Kaylee a part of it in the background. And yeah, Kaylee eventually broke away from it because of how she was treated in the end by Salty Pancakes. So you could consider Kaylee a victim. But before that type of stuff happened, at the time of when Salty Pancakes was completely losing control of reality on YouTube, and whilst Kaylee was still a co-host, you had the likes of Brookie that came on, that was claiming to be in connection and building reports with Brenna inside to reveal what actually happened, the truth. Brookie was a complete bullshitter, was exposed by Candice Cooley, was exposed by some other people in the community, and then sought refuge at Salty Pancakes' place, along with Kurt Wadsworth as well, who was in denial about Brenna. And Kaylee was around with that. So, like how people associate themselves with other crowds and audiences of similar personality traits and mindsets, you get the idea. No surprise why they surrounded themselves with one another. But the main defining factor within it all with Kaylee was when Salty Pancakes made serious false claims and allegations, labelling me as a trafficker, trafficking people. And Salty Pancakes also labelled me as a crisis actor within the Dylan Rounds case, even though I'm from the UK, not the US. And whilst, yes, that was Salty Pancakes' own doing, Kaylee was present at the time and laughed and found it funny. Okay? And if you laugh and find it funny, it's kind of like you going along with it, right? You're not contesting it. It's like, yeah, that's really good. Do you honestly think it's funny to be labelled something that serious when it can have such detrimental effects on people out there if people are delusional enough to believe in it? We can say it's online, we can say it doesn't matter that much, no harm done, but you think of all the people out there who may have been accused of things which they didn't do and it led to them suffering, if not taking their own life. You think that's funny? And yet Kaylee did find it funny with what Salty Pancakes was doing at the time, labelling me this and that and false claims being made, serious ones. It's not a good look, is it? And even before that, when Salty Pancakes clearly had alternative accounts, creating impersonation accounts of me. And it was proven at the time from the perspective of other channels out there. Even Lacey H demonstrated it herself. But yeah, that was at the time when Kaylee was around, when Pancakes had these different accounts, impersonation ones. Not a good look, is it? And whilst you could say that Kaylee may have been in the dark about that specific thing, she was still around at the time of when others were being mischievous and not helping in the case, but actually attacking me instead, right? And then if that's not enough, basically when Kaylee did break away and then got with Twin Mama and they all came together as a collective coalition, they've all been on opposing sides, they've been at each other's throats, they all got together finally and apologised and this and that. Did anyone apologise to me at the time? No. Did people apologise afterwards? Half-hearted. Absolutely pathetic, but that's what happened. So, once they got together, and once Bob Farrell in the background got together as well, they're all together. Many months ago now, okay, it will be, but many months ago, I believe it was 2024, if I'm correct today, it would have been 2024 for sure. You had Bob Farrell, I believe. I think it was Bob Farrell or it was Twin Mama. They were doing a live stream. A couple of familiar faces came on into the chat. Kaylee was on panel as a co-host, if you want to call it that, on another person's channel, Bob Farrell's. And then some digs were made at me saying, oh, he knows everything about the case, but with a laughing emoji saying he knows nothing, he's an idiot, right? some other guy, Buster, came in saying, oh yeah, he doesn't know anything, he's got an annoying voice, blah, 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 same old, criticising me. Kaylee did not contest, but she actually added on by saying, yeah, and as well, Warlike Ralph, he doesn't really do much in the case, he just looks at articles and reads them out and then that's it, he doesn't do anything. If you used to go back and look at my channel, I've done map analysis, I've done coverage, I've shown photos. I was the one and the only one to actually reveal the location and spot on YouTube where Dylan Round's body was found at. Whilst others were talking a load of shit, and the rest, or the odd few, were saying that they do have it or they do this, but they don't pass it on, I was able to locate it. I covered it. My own unique analysis, as well as footage, photos, theories, the lot, more than what you could believe, okay? Close to 500 videos made on that case. The opportunity for, interesting coverage, outside of the box thinking, unparalleled to other people out there, unprecedented. Is that the word you say? I don't know. But I really did give it my all from all different angles and perspectives, all different ways of showing it and putting it into motion, much more than what anyone else could possibly do. Even if you combine most people out there that did the Dylan Rounds coverage, it does not match to the sheer amount of the coverage that I did. And the main theme was to keep the case alive, day-to-day basis. I supposedly covered the case almost every day for an entire year. Now, granted, there were more things to talk about at the time compared to later on, but you get what I'm saying, just keep the case alive, spread awareness, and learn along the way. Same exact mentality and approach I've applied here in the Noah Presgrove case. It just doesn't change because it works, and people do appreciate it, but not everybody does. And even though you can say the minority are in smaller numbers and it doesn't matter, sometimes the minority can be more dangerous and cause more trouble and destruction and disruption, right? So when Kaylee was discrediting me several months ago now with my coverage on the Dylan Rounds case, playing it down, saying I've not done anything, I've not really made an impact, I don't really do much at all. Fast forward, I think days later, what was that? Kaylee on one of the live streams looking at the Daily Mail saying, oh, what's all this information about? Let me just scroll down. What a two-faced hypocritical beep. You get what I'm saying? And the thing was, I wasn't even aware that there was a problem with Kaylee because it was just brought to my attention in the background. So people talking behind me, behind my back, cowardly, not even face to face. And then a couple of months ago, you had Kaylee reach out to me saying, hey, can I use your footage about Bob Farrell and him being subscribed to the LGBT community and young white males and that weird obsession with younger boys, which Bob Farrell is obsessed with. And I just simply replied back saying, well, on one condition, you explain yourself from the past and you just explain what the hell's going on. And as well, second condition, you give credit just to my channel to say where you got it from. That's it. Did Kaylee ever respond back to that? No. Okay, did they read it? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they didn't want to apologise. Maybe they didn't want to explain themselves with the past. And that's a problem with a range of people from the Dylan Rounds case onwards. They just move on and then seen as pure, innocent angels. And yet, I know exactly what certain people are like and what they did. Participating in disruption within a case. Giggling about, not taking it serious. I did videos in the Dylan Rounds case. I was being serious. I had critical points, key evidence and findings along the way. Kaylee came on in, few of us did, joking about, giggling, messing around, not even paying attention to the video. Probably why months later she said that I didn't do much coverage in a unique way in the case, because she didn't stick around long enough and she didn't keep her mouth shut long enough to actually listen and learn, right? Not my problem, that's theirs, okay? But it's just, once again, the sheer hypocrisy. They came onto my channel, laughing, giggling all over the place, very reckless, hyperventilating, right? And then the moment they do their own videos, live streams, where it matters and it's important, they're pleading with their audience. This is really important. This is my first time. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't want to mess it up. I want everyone to maintain focus. Please, please, please. Right, so you kind of demand or you just hope and wish for focus when you do your videos, but it's fine and quite okay for you to go elsewhere and cause disruption and chaos. Two-faced beep. Beep, censored. I'm not saying any words, okay, I'm just doing beep, just for the atmosphere of it. But do you understand, at least where I'm coming from? I've seen the dark side of people over time. The most unfortunate situation in life is if you're on the receiving end in a negative way with humans quite often, some people out there could start questioning you and say, well, if you're always calling out other people as being the problem and it happens so much, maybe you're the problem yourself. That would be the worst situation to be in life, because you can't help it. If you just happen to be attacked all the time, you're not asking for it, you're doing your own thing, you're keeping your head down, you're still being attacked, and then the moment you call it out, and if it happens too often and then people question that, then there's no winning. It's just a lose-lose situation in life. And whilst this can be a small scale thing in life, you can apply it in other situations, other areas on a more severe scale. I always like to upscale and think of the long-term aspect. So it is very unfortunate. But I didn't think there was a problem with Kaylee, but then with how she suddenly turned on me just like that, because it wasn't always bad, okay? It was okay. They had a sense of humour. And, they left at the odd video of mine when it was done in a fun, light-hearted way. But then with time, they changed in behaviour and attitude and went negative, participated and encouraged the false accusations, insults towards me, found that very amusing, when obviously it's not a funny situation, is it? Being reckless on my channel, in which I was trying to be serious and cover a case, but they expect to focus on theirs when they do their thing, a bit one-sided. Them laughing and giggling at times when, it's supposed to be a video or a live stream about, an actual case, whatever it may be, but, going off subject, it's not relevant. Being a co-host elsewhere, which is all about disruption and corruption of a case, which really doesn't help either, doesn't portray yourself as a good image, being a part of a cult either, talking behind my back as well, and then reaching out afterwards and saying, can I use your footage, Warlight Ref, please, without even acknowledging the past nor apologising. I mean, come on. This is what I mean. People have got a goldfish mentality to just switch and change up just like that and move on like nothing ever happened. People need to know their place, know where they came from. And if they can't do it themselves, then I will, at least on my encounters of humans, right? Obviously, this isn't like the be-all and end-all. In fact, the Noah Presgrove case is more important than any of this, but it's an important theme, topic, and talking point, regardless of the resistance, what people may say about it. You need to learn who is who, what's what, so then you know how to deal with things in the future. I spread awareness as well, just like the case, which go parallel, because it's all to do with the case and the community. You want it more healthy, you want it more positive. Issues like this need to be brought firsthand. People from the past that may still linger about need to be brought to the light. And I don't mean that in a delusional religious reference, I'm talking about in basic common sense. So, when anyone says to me, Warlight Ref, Kaylee uploaded this and that, you should check it out. Here's a link. Oh, Kaylee is such a wonderful, amazing person. Far from the truth. I've seen the past. I've seen what they're like. I've seen what they've said and done to me. Not exactly positive. Okay? Hopefully people understand me. I don't expect people, when it comes to new viewers and people that haven't been on my channel back then, I don't expect people to 100% believe in what I say, because that's like too demanding and stuff. But, there's no need to be making this or that up. I'm just telling you from what I witnessed myself in the past. And I just wanted to make it very clear that I'm not being rude. I'm not like ignoring people when people say to me, you should check that person's channel or links out. I'm just choosing not to, because, I don't want to surround myself with cancer. I came across it in the past. It happened. I don't want to be around it again. Do people understand? I'm better off keeping to myself, at least to an extent, doing the videos what I can, the coverage what I can, learn along the way, and just do that. Because when I start integrating with others, it'll only bring up the past, and I don't know, some of the audience members over there are still very toxic, okay? Because it's not just Kaylee who's problematic, it's the audience members as well. And because they are connected back to those in the Dylan Rounds case, still in the background, and some of those audience members are still trapped in an eternal cycle with Jim Terry, Bob Farrell, Mr. X, private investigator, blah, blah, blah. They never broke away from it completely. So it'll just pull everything back together again like a black hole. I've extensively seen it, believe me. I've seen it all. I've analysed it all. I've done very comprehensive and analytical videos about it. We definitely do not need to go over that again, right? As I said, we don't need to do the cycle what all the others are doing, but it's just important to bring this to light so then you know yourself, or at least get a better idea and understanding, because it is kind of frustrating when you know what someone's like or what they've done in the past, but no one else does and everyone else is blind. I'm not saying that people are blind here, but not everyone will know. So if I can spread a bit of awareness, that's good. But what I will say is, whatever Kaylee is doing right now as for coverage on the case, from the looks of it, she isn't harming the case. Supposedly she's doing a good job with her videos, with her coverage and live streams, whatever, okay? But how she acted in the past with a different case, completely different scenario, okay? Just like the patterns of people, what we're seeing today, there may be elsewhere they claim to care about a case, but then I see a different side to them, and it's like, well, that was unexpected, right? So what I can present and provide to you is before and after changes within human behavior, and then you see it yourself, because maybe you don't see it firsthand, I do, then I can relay it onto you from experience or even screenshots as in today, okay? If people are interested in all that drama with the odd ones here and there and in the past, you can always go back to my Dylan Rounds playlist and you'll find all the videos there where I talk about it and even some references, links made as well, okay? May have not always done videos, content, the audio from what the people said, and that was just because of copyright issues, but I think there's a fair chance that some of those live streams are still up on people's channels where these people were acting out or cowardly calling me out behind their backs, okay? So if this video causes resistance, tough shit. It's an important video to make. It's important in my mind. It's important to the case. If humans can't see that, maybe they're a lost cause, okay? You might start seeing some keyword terminology being used by me earlier on in this case, because maybe it is going downhill a little bit, which is very unfortunate. But this doesn't deter me. It doesn't slow me down with my other coverage. Granted, some days have been busy outside of making videos, so I can only do so much, but there are still ideas. They can still be made, all under control, okay? No issues there. But today was the day to defend myself as like what a normal person would do. So hopefully you took something away from this, maybe positive, maybe a form of learning, a form of awareness. If you don't fully agree, okay, fair enough. You can leave your questions, you can leave your comments down below, but, you know, it needed to be made. So thanks for watching. I appreciate your patience. Goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next one, which will be about the golf clubs.